Hi, everyone. Latanya Blackman here, founder of Woman to Woman Empowerment Network. And today we have Felice. Okay, okay, I can hear it now. Good, that's awesome. Let me turn that down. Okay, we have Felice Carlton here, and I'm going to just read the bio, a brief bio, because this woman of God right here is doing some amazing, amazing things for the women. And Felice Carlton is a doctor of nursing practice. She's a keynote speaker, a certified integrative health coach through Duke University. He has over a decade of combined nursing and nurse practitioner experience with improving health outcomes and decreasing organizational healthcare costs. Dr. Carlton's clinical experience includes awards from National Institutes of Health and Nurse of the Year through the Department of Veterans Affairs. She is the owner of Felice Carlton Enterprise, where she works with well established career women and business owners looking to decrease stress, enhance resiliency, and fit their whole body wellness into a busy schedule. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Felice. How are you today?
I am excellent. Thank you so much for having me and being a visionary to see the need that, we as
Yes.
women need at this point.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And as you all know that we are working from home, so you just heard my dogs in the background. This is what happens when someone walks past our home. That they think they're in charge. So please excuse the background noise. But I wanted to have Dr. Felice here because, as we all know, we are going to be approaching into society again. So Governor Cooper just announced that May 8th is our extended stay at home date, and it will be lifted at some point. So if that's extended again, we don't know, but we do know that it will end at some point. So what we want to do today is make sure that you have information on how you can transition into your new norm.
Right.
Okay. So I know as for me, I'm pretty ready to get back to some norm. I know that there's some fear out there about, what if we contract this virus, our loved ones, and, how do we go back into our workplaces, being safe and making sure we're clean and just like that. So, how do you feel? How can we feel safe while going back into our new norm? And what is that going to look like for us?
Absolutely. I think the concerns are very warranted. I'm not on the front lines at this point in my life, but my colleagues are, and they're concerned. So what you want to do is begin to prepare now, knowing that eventually this is coming down the line. If you are a person who you can work from home a little longer, then that may be a conversation you can have with your supervisor in terms of if you're still trying to manage childcare and homeschool and all those other type things.
Right.
However, if you're a person that you will need to report back to somebody's office or work site, you want to have the conversation with your employer in terms of what infection control prevention methods are you guys putting in place for us as we come back. And if there's not a plan in place, one, that needs to be a conversation that the leadership needs to have. And if you are a business owner, this is something you want to consider for your employees.
Right.
If you own a restaurant, what's new? I saw on the news in California, now they're implementing that all menus must be wiped down with sanitizer, all tables, chairs, everything in between each person. So if you're in a place where there's a common space, like if you have to use a copier that everyone uses, or you have to use something, obviously doorknobs, bathrooms, make sure you bring your own stuff, right? Nobody's going to look out for you better than what you will look out for yourself. So some of us have family members that are immune compromised. And I know that's my situation. I quarantined back home with my parents, and my mom is immune compromised. So I've been extra careful even with the decisions I make, because it's not just about me, it's more so about her. So at this point, we all know Lysol and Clorox wipes are so difficult to find. Every now and then you may be able to find them. Spray Lysol can is difficult to find. So let's think about what we can do to make sure you still have the appropriate sanitation. So I know in the area right now, I'm closer to Wilmington, North Carolina. their Sam's has a massive amount of those industrial paper towels, like you see that, you know, when you wash your hands in a restaurant, it's automatic, it just comes down, because all the store, all the industries and businesses that use those are closed. So we don't use those in our homes, so no one's buying those. You may have to use something like that and maybe have some cleanser like you would normally clean your house with that's still disinfectant. Spray that on that and wipe your desk down, wipe your mouse down, wipe all those things down. Don't touch a fax machine if you haven't wiped it down. You know, I still would recommend, especially at the beginning, you know, keep a mask on, make sure you're still socially distanced if possible, you know, with your organization, because it's not about fear, because, you know, we know God is not giving us the spirit of fear, but he's also giving us wisdom and preparation. And with wisdom and preparation, that anxiety begins to decrease a little bit. So I encourage people to make a plan starting now. I know two things you want to ask: who's affected, whether that means who's in your home, right? And who's indirectly affected if you buy groceries for your mom or this elderly neighbor, who's affected, and what can I expect? So whether that's in terms of childcare, whether in terms of his work requirements, you know, whether it's in terms of other things that you may need to think about logistically. Don't wait until May and then get in this panic and you can't find anything at any store, because we all know stores get shipments, some of them twice a day, right? You may have to try different places. And those of you who live in Charlotte, you may have to go outside of Charlotte, because what I'm noticing is the rural areas tend to have things because there's less people. So I know, I live in South Park, and when I was looking for toilet paper and paper towels and everything, I would go to Pineville, and they always had it. There's a Dollar General in Pineville. So I'm letting the secret out. There's a Dollar General in Pineville that every time I went, they always had toilet paper. They always had paper towels. So now my parents live in a rural area. The Dollar General, the stuff that no one can find, okay, hand sanitizer, all that stuff. But now what can we do to be creative? Because these stores get supplies in. It's just a matter of you being there when they're unloading the truck. Then my mom and I positioned that. So Walmart was unloading a truck, and we literally helped the lady, like, oh, don't worry, I got this box for you because I need these wipes in here, you know? So just kind of finding that out. And sometimes if you're, especially at this point, if you're free, it may not be a one-day trip like we want to go in, get everything, come back, decrease our infection, but that one day might not have what you need.
That's good. That's really, really good. What would you say to those who have lost loved ones to COVID-19? You know, my condolences definitely go out to them, but for some of us, we're not seeing, I'm going to be honest, because I'm not on the front line. And I'm in the house most of the time. I don't see it, and I try not to watch the news. So for someone that they're on the front line, they're seeing it, and they're dealing with the anxiety, or still, you know, mourning from the loss. You know, what do you say to them so that they can get past this season and time?
Right. So that's a multifaceted question. So first, you know, my thoughts, my prayers, and my condolences do go out to anyone who is in any way impacted by this, whether it's our healthcare providers. My colleagues are struggling. They're in a place where they're constantly having to have that conversation to say, I'm sorry, your 39-year-old healthy husband that walked into this emergency room is no longer with us. You know, like that, I can say from a professional perspective, I've had to have that conversation, and it's emotionally draining. It's because oftentimes people don't realize we go into healthcare because we want to change lives. Yes, it's a job, but we care about the people, right? I don't look at you as an African-American, you're old, you know, this 40, you know, I look at you as you're a mom, you know, you're a wife, you know, and so, so there needs to be no stigma with whatever the healing process is for all those people affected. And knowing that right now we are in trauma, it truly is unprecedented trauma. This is it's like 9/11, but worse, you know, and also knowing that trauma has secondary trauma afterwards, right? So we may get back to our new normal, because it will never be our regular normal. We're not going back to what we had, right? Like after 9/11, life has never been the same when you try to fly a plane. So our new normal is going to be different now, but also knowing that there is a healing that might need to take place, and to be okay with it. Don't be so gun-ho, I got to get back, got to do this, got to do that. No. Healing is mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And if you leave out any one of those components, you're not going to be able to function or have mental clarity in your next levels of your lives. And I know what it's like, because I had a family member to pass away, and we don't know for sure if it's COVID or not. I mean, as a relatively healthy young person that suddenly is no longer with my family, and to see that casket via internet is something that I
Wow,
wouldn't want
yeah.
anybody to see, you know, because you already have these emotions. You lost a family member, and I have someone right now, I got a message that, you know, they're on hospice and in a coma. They're not expecting them to make it. So just know that you're not the only one going through that. And whatever your support systems may be, whether it's family, whether it's a close friend, somebody who you can be vulnerable with that will help you, go start off with that first, right? Be okay. Don't be in isolation. Don't sit there and suffer alone, because there's people who want to help you, but also knowing that there are therapists, there are counselors, there are
Right.
people who are therapists who are also women of faith or men of faith, who not only have education and transformation, but also on a spiritual and a supernatural anointing level, right, can bring that in too.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
if you are a person of faith, that's something that, you know, our healing naturally comes from our spiritual being. But if you are not a person of faith, just also know that, be okay with your process and know that this is a process. You will make it through. You will come back better in the end. Somehow, some way, it will always work for your benefit. You'll be stronger. You'll be more resilient, because many of us have gone through adversity in life, and it's like when you're going through it, all you see is this.
Right.
You can't
That's
look
true.
at the big picture. You don't care about the big picture. You just want this
That's
to be
true.
gone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
But
agree.
this is your boot camp. It's your training ground. This is what is preparing you for that next level and putting you in position that you didn't think you needed to be in. So often we're focused on here when we're supposed to be here. And the reason some people are getting in a place where they feel not content or anything like that is because they're pounding so hard in the wrong way. And oftentimes you have to be thrust into a situation of what I call transition, where your whole life suddenly changes. The life you knew is ripped out from you, and you're put in a new reality that you didn't ask for, you don't
Right.
quite
That's
like,
true.
but you got to make it work. And as you
Gotta
make
make it
it
work.
work, right, as you make it work, you begin to realize that, hey, there's something to gain from this. I would have never met this amazing person or made this amazing experience had I not done that. And business owners have to do the same thing. Like, you think about Domino's Pizza in 2008, when the recession hit, their stock was worth less than $3 and they were almost out of the door. And we all know Domino's prior to 2008 was never known for great pizza. It was like
Right.
convenient, right?
And
We
they
all
came
know
back better.
right, the crust was nasty.
Right.
We know that. They even said it. They said, look, we've heard your concerns. Our crust tastes like cardboard. And I'm like, you're right.
Right.
And they said, we've changed our formula. We're going to make it easy for you. If it's 30 minutes or less, if it's not delivered by then and it's not right, it's free. And if it's something wrong, we'll fix it. So their stock in the beginning of April went up to, it was $300 and some. So they survived this down economy by pivoting, meeting their customers' needs, being in position, right? And it's the same thing for those who are listening to this and who are business owners. You're so focused about, oh, this was lost and that was lost and I can't do this. But
That's
what
true.
can you do? That's why it's so important for you to have peace and mental clarity,
That's
because that's
right.
where the thoughts come from. I'm new to Charlotte. I just moved here in January, right? I've been working, I used to work full time and I built my business on the side. And I took an act of obedience and a leap of faith in January, coming to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
Within
That's
90
good.
days, I had 5 speaking engagements, and that was God.
That's awesome.
Now,
Yeah.
they were all
Yeah.
canceled, right? So I had my pity party just like everybody else. They told me to come here, you know.
That's right. Yep. Yep.
But since then, I said, okay, Felice, there are new needs that have now come up. What can you do to be in position to meet these new needs? Because you are qualified and trained, right? You guys have gifting that other people need. So what can you do to position yourself to be in a place where people need you, right?
Right.
Since then, I've had 9 speaking engagements.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm crying over these 5. I could have stayed and cried over these 5. I said, okay,
That's right.
what else can I do to pivot? What else can I do to reposition myself? So it's all about innovation, creativity, knowing that this did not happen to you, it happened for you.
For you. That's
And
right.
I've gone through difficult times where I've been unemployed as a registered nurse with experience for 9 months, right? I've gone through difficult times where I had a summer where 4 people who were very close to me died in one summer. So I know what it's like to go through difficult times, but I also know what it's like when you bounce back in the end.
That's right. And being able to see God in it.
Yes, right, right.
Right. Because you a lot of times you can't see God in it when you're going through it. But when you come out on the other side, it's like, now I get it.
Right.
So when we go through it again, and I have to remind myself, when I go through something, I have to remember the last time when I went through something.
Right.
Like, okay, God, you was in that, then I know that you are in this too.
Exactly.
And I'm just going to trust you through this process. I don't know what it's going to look like later. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't even know what you want me to do, but I'm trusting the process.
Exactly.
And I think we have to do that even now. Understand that God is in control, and that we don't have to operate in fear, because God knows exactly what he's doing when he does it and how he does it. So, you know, we can be okay. So yeah, that's good.
I completely agree with you. And it's also, so trust God, trust the process, and trust yourself, right?
And yourself,
because
absolutely.
the vision that he put in you is because he knows, he trusts you to bring it forward. He could put that same vision in anybody else with less or more resources than you, but he chose you. That's and so if he gives you this vision, he's going to provide divine provision for it to come to pass, because it's not even about you. It's about all these people who are secretly praying for something, and you're the answer, right? You're the solution. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Wow, that's good. That's good, girl. We could talk all day about this, for real. No, I know that a lot of families are out there wondering like how they're going to pay their bills and stuff. And like we said, like I'm a business owner as well. I have been off since March 16th and don't plan to go back probably until school returns, if they return. I'm already making the preparation that school may not go back in session. So I'm staying in contact with, you know, my current customers, which are parents, because I own a child development center. I'm staying in contact with them. I'm still enrolling for summer camp. You know, I'm making plans for summer as if nothing happened, but I do realize that I may not go back until summer. You know, so, you know, for some families, that's very stressful. For me, I'm just ready to get to some normalcy. I need some routine. I am a Virgo, and you know, we need structure. We need structure. We need routine. We need a list. You know, so that is killing me. I'm trying to deal with the new norm, right? But for some families, you know, they're not in a good place financially, and they're wondering, you know, how they're going to pay their bills, and you know, I got to pay my bills, and I got to worry about a virus, right? And I got these kids at home, you know, so it's really, really tough. So I know you have a strong, strong mission for resilience. What steps, if you have any steps that women can take in order to position themselves to not feel that blow,
right?
You know, wondering about the bills and stuff like that.
Right. So it's hard, because the reality is when money's not coming in and bills are coming in over and over and over again, it's overwhelming. Like I said, I've been there. I know what that feels like. And it's almost like you feel like a failure, because you feel like you've worked so hard and nothing is in your control that you've been trying to control all this time. So the thing about this being a national pandemic is, one, many people are in that situation. So you are not alone. Educated, uneducated, business owner, business owner. High, upper class, lower class, whatever position you're in, right? So the thing is that now companies are willing to work with you. I've heard so many amazing stories how people say, oh, the landlord of my business said for the next 2 months I don't owe them rent. That's huge, you know, but guess what? They had to ask. They had to say, look, this is where I'm at, right? This is what I'm, you know, this is where I'm at. Maybe this is what I can do at this moment. I've been a loyal customer to you for XYZ years. What can you do? So credit card companies, utilities companies, all these companies know, and they're really doing what they can to help. I've heard so many amazing stories. So first, get rid of any pride. This is not the time to have any pride, right?
I agree.
And especially if you are a person who's used to helping other people, it can be hard to ask for help. It's like a sign of weakness.
That is true.
It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of weakness to sit there and suffer, right? To drown in silence when people all around you have life vests and they don't even know you behind them, you know? So one, get strategic and start, you know, speaking with those people who maybe you have bills, and say, you know, what kind of conversations can you have to make sure that this is not such a burden? They may lower some bill, they may do some things, right? Because people in the long term, they look at you as a long-term customer. It's so much better for them to keep you in the long term than for them to like let you go right now and lose a customer for life. That's why Verizon, I talk to them on the regular, like, no, I'm not paying all this. This is what we're not going to do.
Catch me next month.
Right. Cancel my service.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I agree.
yeah, so that's one thing, right? That's maybe one way to get some stress off of your plate initially. Second thing is if you do have to do into something like if your savings are already tapped up and you have to do like a credit card or something like that, there are some no interest ones that you can do 18 months. You know, you just never know. There's some options. I can say from experience when I was going through that time in 2008 and didn't have the job and applying 8 hours a day, couldn't get a job, that the economy for everyone else, the country wasn't as willing as they are now, right?
Right.
So now you have help.
That's true.
And then I did have to get a credit card to make sure nothing was repossessed and I didn't lose things, but I was able to pay it off once it, things bounce back around.
Catch up. Yes.
Right. So another, what I say in terms of mindset is, one, you have to be very intentional about protecting your mind. Miss Blackman over here gave an excellent example of how she's not watching the news. And I can say from my personal experience, when this thing first started, I'm a clinician. I worked in infectious disease. I used to work at the National Institutes of Health. So Dr. Fauci, who's leading the country, I took care of his patients. So I'm always like in tune of what's going on. But I realized what I was listening to was making me anxious, making me nervous. I'm like, girl, you're the clinician. You know the deal. Like, why are you letting all this negativity get into your head, So yes, be prepared. Yes, stay abreast, but do not let it over inundate you to the point that you are feeling so sad, so overwhelmed, so anxious. So protect your mind. To be intentional about what you pour into your mind. So you have to be very intentional about what you are listening to, who are you speaking to. When you're getting dressed and taking a shower, this is the time to start pouring in positivity, positive messages. Follow positive people on social media or podcasts and those type things, because your mind is a muscle. It's just like if you haven't worked out in a while and then you start back, it hurts. It's uncomfortable.
That's true.
Nobody likes it. But once you get into a rhythm, you get this muscle memory that's there for you when you need it. So that's another thing to stay intentional about. And I always tell my clients, we're very intentional about morning routines before the rest of the world gets your time and energy and sucks you dry, like we know it does, right? We don't admit it, but because we're used to it, because we're superwoman. But that's another issue for another day. Your morning, I call it my power hour. So in the morning, first 30 minutes, I do 6 activities for 5 minutes. So whether it's 5 minutes of visualizing where I want to go. I might not be able to see it now, but I want to focus on it because that's where my focus is. Positive affirmation. So I remember when I was in my doctorate program, before I even took the first class, I made an affirmation like, my name is Dr. Felice Carlton, speak these things into existence, right? Because you're training your mind. Your mind is hearing this because your brain doesn't discriminate. It takes in good or bad. So we got to be intentional about pouring in the good and limiting the bad. Prayer, meditation, scripture, journaling just for a few minutes. I would do more of that at night. And then exercising. You have to like exercise.
And music.
Yes, music. I can't exercise without music. It's not gonna happen. It's just not. I need something to get me going, and then then I'm ready. So be intentional about that. That's what I would say for you guys, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. That's good. That's really, really good. I wish we could go on and on, but I know we only have 30 minutes today. Look, I'm going to have to pull you back in, definitely, because, our women in our community, we need to hear what you have to say, Dr. Felice. I mean, you have a wealth of knowledge, and I just wanted to add to what you were saying, get outside, guys. If it means just sitting on the porch, sitting on the back patio. If you don't have a porch, pull a chair up, go sit outside, outside the door. Go outside every day. It's just something about that sunshine, So thank you so much, Dr. Felice.
You're very welcome.
We are going to be in touch because I'm going to have you again.
Oh, thank you. Well, just one more thing, what I want to leave with the ladies, if that's okay with you. So I've obviously been working with a lot of people during this time. It's super stressful, super anxious, wavering mindsets. And I took some tools together and made a guide for all the women who are maybe struggling with your mindset. And it's basically how to position adversity as an accelerator in your life instead of an oppressor. And if you go to www.yourwinningmind.com, pick up your free guide. It will also connect you to my email list. I send out periodic, inspirational messages and specific strategy, because I'm not all about the fluff. I'm about implementation, results, and strategy as well, So again, yourwinningmind.com, and feel free to reach out to me, connect with me. If there's any way I can support you on this journey, then, let me know.
All right. I'm putting this in here right now. So all they have to do is link on it.
Mm-hmm.
There you guys go. Please go to that website and get what you need in order to have a mind that is flourishing and
Yes.
healthy. So yes, absolutely. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you. It's been a pleasure. You have a
Yes,
great day. We'll definitely be
you
in touch,
too.
okay?
All right. Talk
Thank
to you
you.
soon.
All right. Bye-bye.